Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about the appreciative advising approach. I am by no means an expert in appreciative advising. However, I'm going to share with you what I learned from researching the appreciative advising approach. We can go ahead and get started. So as I did my research, there were some words that stuck out to me in particular about appreciative advising. There are several that you can see on the screen. However, a few that I would like to highlight are collaboration, non-judgmental, accountability, creativity, reflection, goals, and strengths, which I feel are all key aspects to the appreciative advising model. So this quote that you see on the screen, I found in the Appreciative Advising chapter in the book of Academic Advising Approaches, Strategies that Teach Students to Make the Most Out of College. And this really stood out to me and really put together what appreciative advising is into a nice package with a bow on top. So I'll read that quote for you. Intentional and collaborative practice of asking positive, open-ended questions that help students optimize their educational experiences and achieve their dreams, goals, and potentials. So a little bit more about appreciative advising. It comes from several of the following theories: social constructivism, appreciative inquiry, positive psychology, and choice theory. Constructivism emphasizes the collaboration in education and the value of social interactions between members of a group. It also states that learning is best achieved through life experiences and social interactions. Appreciative inquiry is a change theory that focuses on positive in everything and uses this positive energy to create change. Positive psychology expresses that individuals wish to lead meaningful, purposeful lives enriched by fulfilling and joyful experiences. Lastly, choice theory states that life is managed by choices made, and behaviors are internally motivated by physical needs for survival, and that this is based off of Maslow's hierarchy of needs that we should be familiar with already. Appreciative advising was created through action research, meaning that this model was constructed by applying it in the field, and research was done based on the data that it produced. Because of this, this theory can be easily adapted and applied in actual advising sessions with students with ease. Appreciative advising also encourages the student development of cognitive, metacognitive, and affective skills, whereas traditional or prescriptive advising only utilizes the cognitive sphere. Metacognitive skills that students learn as a result of appreciative advising are self-monitoring and reflection. In addition, students learn affective skills like self-efficacy, which is the belief in oneself, and goal setting. Appreciative advising also emphasizes that every student has unique strengths and positive energy and can be used to create change. Lastly, the need to feel collected and being able to relate to others also touches on the affective skills students can gain from this advising approach. This slide shows some studies that have been completed on the effectiveness of the appreciative advising approach for student success. The first study at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, was completed in 2007. The appreciative advising model was used with students on academic probation. Some students in academic probation participated in programming provided by UNCG, while others did not. The retention rate of students who were on academic probation improved by 18% for those who participated in this programming that was offered. Another study done at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, occurred in 2009. The appreciative advising model was used with first-year experience programming. Some first-year students participated in the appreciative advising first-year experience program, while others did not. Those who participated in the Appreciative Advising First Year Experience Program obtained higher GPAs, so a 2.72 versus a 2.49 for students who did not, as well as higher retention rates of 77.5% for those students that participated and 75.5% for students who did not participate. Another study completed at the University of South Carolina in 2011 incorporated the Appreciative Advising framework into the academic success coaching in the Academic Center for Excellence program. It focused on student strengths and applying the academic strategies for success. It also emphasized strong relationships and rapport building with students. This office has seen a 10-fold rate increase in the amount of student visits during this time. And there was a significant increase in academic probation students' GPA from a 0.91 up to a 1.93. So as I was doing my research, I found that in order for students to be successful in their careers beyond college, future employers wanted to see certain qualities in students that they should have developed throughout college. These qualities include embracing diversity, excellent communication skills, the ability to collaborate with others, critical thinking skills, creativity, and greater self-awareness and ability to engage in reflection. These are all qualities that academic advisors can model for students and that are integrated into the appreciative advising model. So now going into the appreciative advising model, it is constructed of 6 phases, which are disarm, discover, dream, design, deliver, and don't settle. And then I have a note here that these are not necessarily sequential steps, but rather they reflected how the model can be adapted and applied. So they don't have to go in order, and they may skip and become intertwined as you go through. There's no prescribed order or process for it to take place. So disarm. So disarm is building that trust and rapport between the advisor and the student, building that positive relationship. And creating a positive first impression is going to be something that the advisor is going to want to do. And you also want to make students feel safe, comfortable, and welcome in your office. What this might look like if we're applying it to academic advising, that sending out welcoming and positive invitations for students to attend an advising appointment. We want to look at our website and make sure it's user-friendly with pictures and a brief description of advisors. We want to make sure that the office space and waiting area are a safe and welcoming environment for students to come. We want to greet students, welcoming them to the office and engaging with small talk with them. We want to think about our attending behaviors like eye contact and sitting up straight, nodding as needed to show that you're listening, etc. And we want to build that relationship and the rapport between the advisor and the student. Now moving on to the next phase is discover. So during the discover phase, you're uncovering a student's strengths, skills, and abilities. You're going to look at their accomplishments of what they have accomplished and achieved from the beginning up until where they're at now in both their academic and their personal life. You can have a student write their story or narrative of their life. And we need to remember that students are the experts on themselves. So we need to lean into this discover phase to learn more about our students and who we're advising so we can best help them. Application of discover. So we want to continue building that rapport with students that we started with in the disarm phase. We want to ask positive, open-ended questions to learn about a student's strengths, passions, dreams, challenges, accomplishments, and achievements. We want to explore their motivation for their program choice or major. Why did they choose to go into that? And then we want to allow the student to tell their narrative of how they got to where they are now, and the challenges, accomplishments, and struggles they may have gone through or obstacles to get where they are today. Another phase in this model is the dream model, or the dream phase. This is going to be a student's hopes and dreams for their future. We're going to be identifying career and life goals that they would wish to accomplish. What this might look like in an advising session is that we're guiding the discussion to learn more about the student's dreams, life, and career goals. So we really want to take the holistic approach of looking at the student from not only the academic ones, but what they want to accomplish in their life and maybe personal passions and things that they do on the side of their career as well. We want to ask open-ended questions to keep the discussion going, to learn more about this dream, because remember that students are the experts on themselves. So we need to learn more about them. And helping student pinpoint and identifying goals for the future. And then we can encourage a student to visualize or picture, or maybe even draw a picture of what they want their future to look like. What does it look like to them? In the design phase, we're going to focus on co-constructing a plan to make the students' dreams a reality. How are they going to get from where they are now to where they want to be in their dream? Like I said, how are they going to get to where they want to be? What needs to happen between now and to get them to their dream? And we want to think about specific, actionable, and achievable plans. So what this designing phase might look like could be co-constructing a plan to make their goals a reality. We want to brainstorm the steps that are needed to reach their dreams and goals. We want to make sure that we're creating actionable, specific, and achievable steps. And we want to go beyond just academics. We want to consider experiences that they may need, extracurricular activity involvement, leadership experience and positions that they may need to get to where they want to be, volunteering, and also consider helpful campus resources that can assist to make their dreams a reality. Another phase to this model is the deliver phase. This says that students take responsibility for executing their plan and that the advisor provides support and accountability, and that we want to anticipate possible roadblocks, obstacles, and barriers ahead of time so that we can prepare students to work through those before they actually happen. So what this deliver phase might look like. So the student is taking responsibility for actively working towards their goals. The advisor is giving ongoing support, encouragement, and communication. The student is going to be seeking out and using campus resources to achieve their goals. Maybe using things like office hours, tutoring, study groups, study skills. And we're inviting students to return when they run into those obstacles or roadblocks to come see us again so we can help them through those obstacles or roadblocks. And then also they can come see us for additional adjustments or modifications to the plan as needed. And as it may change, as we know, life changes. And then the last phase of the appreciative advising model is don't settle. So we want to keep continuing students to aim higher. We want them to accomplish more and more. We want to look at self-improvement for both the student and advisor. We want the students to maintain that momentum from their successes towards greater achievement. And we want to continue setting higher expectations for oneself, both for the advisor and the student. What this might look like in an advising session, we're setting higher expectations for students after successes. We're using success as a motivator for further achievement. The advisor continues to provide that positive encouragement and a listening ear when they may need it. And the advisor acts as a role model and continuously betters themselves as an advisor. So things like professional development and continuous growth and learning. So you can become a better advisor to your students. And then we want to revisit, revise, and adjust goals as needed. So now, to give you an idea of what it looks like in an actual advising session, I have 2 short videos that show an advisor working with a student using the appreciative advising model. So I'll go ahead and play those for you.
Jamie? Hi, I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. Hey, thanks for coming in today. We're pretty good. Back so.
Yeah, thanks.
You better have a seat.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah.
So what does bring you in?
I mean, I don't know. I'm having some trouble with classes. Just a couple. I mean, I'm good in some, but
Well, what are some of the classes you've been enjoying so far?
well, I really like English. It's like a creative writing workshop, and just been kind of doing different stories. It's a lot of fun. I like them. My teacher's cool too.
Yeah. What are some of the classes you haven't enjoyed as much?
I mean, I have a biology class and a chemistry class, but biology is just really giving me some trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
You struggling with the tests or is it more?
I mean, we only have a couple of tests. I actually just got my first one and they like a 60 something. Yeah, so it's more tests. The labs are cool. I get to work with people. That's fun. But I don't like tests.
Well, tell me, what's your major?
It's biology.
Biology? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, ugh.
Okay. Well, I'm curious, what made you choose biology?
I mean, I wanted to start something, I didn't want to come in not doing something. And then my uncle's a doctor, and my aunt is like x-ray stuff. And so they told me it would be really good to do biology. I just thought we were talking about Christmas before I came here last year, and it just kind of made sense. I mean, they do it and they really like it. And they told me that like you can make money and that's cool.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Picture back to your childhood. What was something you really enjoyed you just wanted to be one day? What would you want to be?
It's really hard. I mean, I guess when I was little, I really wanted to be a teacher. Like I had teachers I really looked up to. I remember my 3rd grade teacher was awesome. Like I still remember in high school even too, it was pretty fun. That's some good ones.
Well, what changed your mind about teaching?
I think it was just like one of those things I just kind of said, hey, as a little kid, time to grow up. And I think my parents really kind of, like they say I need to make sure that I'm like independent and I make, my own future. So I'm trying to make money and be established, like my parents and my aunt and stuff.
Would it be a teaching profession be of interest to you?
I mean, yeah. That could be fun. I've really never thought about it since like high school. I mean, I guess I thought about it in high school a little bit. And then I mean, I like English so much. I like my workshop and never thought about it really ever since. I don't know.
Do your parents know about your interest in teaching?
Yeah, I told them that I really didn't know if I wanted to do biology, but they were like, oh, you'll be fine. Like my brother's fine. And like my dad's sister, she does all that stuff. And I mean, they're successful, and I want to be successful.
Well, what is success to you?
Well, to me, I think it's really different to me than the people around me, like all I hear about from my mom is about money and issues like at home and how if I have a good job, I won't have to worry about that. I don't know. So
if in your career money was not an issue, what would you do?
I don't know, maybe I'd be like a teacher, guidance counselor kind of person. I really like people, and I'm doing really bad in biology. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to be like a guidance counselor, like high school. That'd be kind of cool. I like high school students. They're cool. They're nice. Sometimes they're bratty.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, would you be open to maybe exploring some teaching courses?
I mean, yeah, I'm worried I'm just worried what my parents would think. I mean, I could definitely look into it, but I know, like, if I called my mom and told her I was looking into teaching, she would laugh at just know she would.
Well, why don't I give you some materials on teaching and better prepare you to have a conversation with your parents
Yeah,
and get you some courses and some information. And maybe we can schedule another meeting if you talk with your family and
that would be cool.
maybe we could go to teaching route.
Yeah,
Does that sound good?
yeah, yeah, biology, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I should look into that. I should.
Okay, well, why don't we go schedule our next meeting together then?
Okay.
All right, great, thank you for coming in. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So tell me, last time we were talking about professors and stuff, how did that go?
It went good. I went to see my teacher after one of my classes. I just introduced myself again and decided, maybe I'll tell him about like when I after class, see him. So I went after class, seeing everyone, then we scheduled an appointment for about a week later to meet up and refresh the material. So
And have you met with them?
yes,
Okay,
I did.
how was that?
It was good. I definitely have a different perception of him now. Before I thought he was kind of stiff and
Okay,
not willing to help students, but I definitely went in so helpful.
good, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So now we're about halfway through the semester.
Mhm.
Maybe start moving towards those finals.
Yeah.
Have you thought about how you're gonna better prepare for those, use your professors?
Not really.
Okay, do you know what maybe the format of your exams is going to be?
I know most of them are multiple choice.
Okay, all right, well, since you established this relationship with one of the professors, I would encourage you to try and meet with some of your other ones.
Okay.
And maybe figure out some tips from them, figure out what you need to do to best prepare for your final.
One of my exams, I have an open response section.
Okay.
Would you recommend maybe going to a professor to kind of ask him what type of questions he would be asking?
You could try and ask different questions or maybe get the topics.
Okay.
So it'd be easier for you to prepare for your finals. And if you go to them now, you're kind of showing a very good initiative ahead of time. So it's going to be very beneficial for you to do that.
Okay.
Now I know in about another week or so, we're going to be looking at next semester
Yes.
for advising.
Yeah.
You know where your classes you're going to be looking at?
I have to look at management classes and marketing classes.
Okay.
So
Okay. And have you talked with maybe some upperclassmen and figure out which classes are really good, which ones to maybe wait on?
I've heard to wait on my management 371 class, but
Okay. Okay. Well, definitely, I can give you some tips on some of those classes, some of them, maybe you don't want to take too many hard classes all at one time, but I'll talk to maybe some of your upperclassmen friends in the program, find out which classes to maybe are very heavy work intensive,
right.
Which ones are more test intensive, which ones are more, reading on your own. That way you can try and balance your semester.
It's a good idea.
So from here, we're going to be looking at, you have about a week and a half. So how do you think you're going to go about managing all this stuff we just talked about?
Probably, I'm fairly decent with organization, so I'll probably end up looking at my classes in my free time, trying to figure out which classes I should be taking and figure out the schedule for next semester. Definitely, probably the best time to be with my teacher would be immediately after class or prime time where I have, in between classes, so I can finish that.
Okay. Great. Well, why don't we try and set our next meeting? Why don't you
Okay.
go out and try and get some of this, work on some of it. So why don't we maybe schedule for 2 weeks from now?
Okay.
That way be after advising, you get a chance to maybe talk with some of your professors.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope that was helpful to see what an advising session might look like using the appreciative advising model. So the first article that I chose was called Appreciative Advising as a Mechanism for Student Development. This study was conducted in 2020 at a mid-sized public regional comprehensive university in the southeastern United States. The research question that was investigated was how does using the appreciative advising with students in academic difficulty support their attempts to move into good academic standing? The article took a look at the major issues that contributed to first-year students' academic struggles and how their participation in the course addressed their needs and supported their development. At the beginning of the article, it talks about how students may end up on academic probation for a variety of different reasons that doesn't necessarily include an academic one. However, effective interventions can be implemented to increase students' intention and ability to persist through their struggle. So, students who were placed on academic probation in the previous semester were required to enroll in Learning Contract 101, attend one-on-one meetings with their academic advisor throughout the semester, 4 of them, visit one support office on campus, write an end of semester reflection paper, and maintain a GPA of a 2.3 or higher. So at the first meeting, the advisor reviewed the course goals and requirements and started to build a working relationship with students. At the second meeting, previous academic performance was discussed, and students filled out a questionnaire to identify areas of difficulty and set short-term goals for the semester. At the last 2 meetings, progress was discussed, challenges that students may be facing were addressed, and they identified ways they can be successful and also revisited their goals that they created for the semester. According to this study, areas that students struggled with were personal responsibility, time management, and understanding expectations, and study support. These are all areas that advisors should anticipate and be ready to assist students with. The results from this study showed that the appreciative advising model allowed students to identify areas of struggle, design a plan to move forward. It was found that academic advisors can be a major source of guidance to help students in academic difficulty, or even personal life difficulty, working through that, or giving referral to counseling services on campus if need be. Lastly, the study also confirmed that students who enroll in a learning support course can succeed with the proper support early in their college career, despite their previously poor academic standing. So they can turn it around, which is positive and good to know. It is also important to note that the appreciative advising model, advisors should act in a non-judgmental way, and students should not be ashamed or feel guilt over their previous academic performance. Rather, advisors should be encouraging and work to build up a student's self-efficacy. Lastly, it is also important to note that in this study, not every student was able to successfully complete this course. Personal responsibility and self-regulation skills were skills that students had to exhibit on their own, regardless of the amount of support given from the advisor. The second article that I chose was Appreciative Advising in Nursing Education. This study was conducted in 2017 at Vanderbilt University School of Nursing in Nashville, Tennessee. This study provided all first-year nursing students with faculty advisors using the Appreciative Advising model. Advisors could be sought out for guidance, emotional support, relevant referrals, or important discipline-specific decisions. Faculty advisors took a holistic approach, looking at the whole individual to advising and looking at the roles and responsibilities that nursing students may have in both personal and academic life. And this stems from that Brenner model, if you remember from earlier in the course. Students were Students were randomly assigned to an advisor with whom they met for 3 required advising meetings. These meetings were pre-selected times that were strategically placed during higher workloads and higher demands on students. At the first meeting, the advisor reviewed the student's academic profile. The student completed questionnaires, and together they identified strengths, potential struggles, and developed a plan for success. At the second meeting, the student's grades and clinical evaluations were reviewed for progress. They planned for continued success and made any necessary referrals. At the last meeting, a similar review took place, and the advisor also began talking about expectations and concerns for the upcoming semester. In adopting the appreciative advising model, the Department of Nursing sought to work collaboratively with students to identify their strengths and potential challenges, collaboratively develop and monitor an individualized plan for each student for success, and be able to maintain any intervention necessary early on to promote academic and clinical achievement, as well as maintain their personal health and wellness. Although there was no numerical data provided, anecdotal data was provided from students and faculty advisors. Students said they felt more supported than they have during previous academic experiences. And issues with things like financial aid, counseling, and scheduling concerns were identified quickly and mitigated by providing additional resources to students. Lastly, faculty advisors said that they were very interested and invested in student success. However, it was a large time commitment, and they had wanted additional training before the implementation of this model. So here I have a picture of that inventory, those questionnaires that the nursing students were given. You can see that in this inventory, they rated themselves as strongly disagree, neither disagree nor not agree, or strongly agree to the following statements. I'm not going to read them all, but I just want to highlight a couple. I am committed to lifelong learning. I have a strong desire to achieve the highest grades. I take personal responsibility for my actions and decisions. I have a good time management skills. I am good at building positive relationships. I have a strong support system. I use effective coping skills when I experience stress, fear, or frustration. And then the next questionnaire that students were given has some more questions for students to answer. You can see that it's asking about a student's strengths, what they consider to be their best skills, what their passions are in life, an accomplishment of which they are proud of, hobbies and interests, and what a student does for fun outside of academics, telling about challenges that they may anticipate during their program. How have they planned to manage these challenges? Any fears or anxieties that students have? How they respond to conflict? And also, what does success look like for them? So the first article that I showed you displayed a reactive approach, intervening after students have already experienced challenges and struggles. They were already put on academic probation, and then the appreciative advising model was used. The second article displayed a more proactive approach, being a resource for students before they experience challenges, struggles, or obstacles. So the appreciative advising framework was already put in place, and they had those resources when they experienced those challenges to get help and support early on. So the question that I pose is, as a future academic advisor, how would you implement the appreciative advising model in your practice as an academic advisor? So you can go ahead and engage in a discussion in the comments on this post. And I'll be looking forward to reading and interacting with you guys on that and to hear your thoughts and opinions as well, because I am learning still as well. So the strengths exercise that I have, the activity that I have planned, 2 activities, this is the first one. Well, one of those, so as future academic advisors, it is critical that the appreciative advising model focuses on the positive and bringing out the strengths in our students. That is why I selected this first activity. This activity asks you to identify the strengths in someone and then write how they used those strengths to overcome challenges in their life. So I've attached the file that has this worksheet. So first, you're going to think about a fictional character, someone from a book, movie, or TV show. You're going to write who that person is. You're going to list their strengths and then describe how they used those strengths to overcome challenges or in their everyday life. Then you're going to think about an inspiring person you know or a role model. And you're going to list their strengths and describe how they use their strengths to overcome challenges and how they use those strengths in their everyday life. Lastly, you're going to think about yourself. You're going to list your strengths. You're going to describe how you use your strengths in everyday life. And then describe how you have used your strengths to overcome a specific challenge. So you're going to use that worksheet provided. You're going to answer those 3 questions or topics, finding the strengths in a fictional character, an inspiring person or role model, and then yourself. So I will set my timer for about 5 minutes, and then in 5 minutes we'll reconvene and we will look to the next activity. So I'll let you know when that 5 minutes has passed. Okay, you can go ahead and begin. Okay, welcome back. I hope you found that activity beneficial and that you'll be able to pick out the strengths in your students that you're advising and bring out positives rather than looking at them from a deficit approach. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next activity. So another component that is critical to appreciative advising model is being able to help students create a plan and construct goals to work towards their dream and vision. This is why I chose a goal setting activity for you to engage in, so you'll better be able to help your future students. So this goal setting portion of my presentation is taken from the Moxie Life printables found online. These printables were created by Sarah Friend, founder of the company Moxie Life and a life coach for over 20 years. She has used these printables for years, helping people identify their goals to achieve their vision that they have for themselves. So sometimes it can be really hard when you're trying to come up with goals, and the process can seem overwhelming for many. This Life Compass assessment is an informal assessment created to help shine light on the areas of your life that you may want to improve. There are 8 areas of life on the assessment. They are personal, fun and recreation, work and learning, family and relationships, health and fitness, spiritual and personal growth, financial and physical environment. There should be a 2-page assessment, as you can see pictured on the screen, and that should be attached as well to this video. You are going to read the prompts and score yourself from 1 being poor to 10 being great about how you feel about each statement as it relates to your life. Don't overthink it, just write down what first speaks to you. When you finish, you can add together the question, the values that you gave for each question. In each section, there are 8, so you're going to divide by 8 to give yourself a score for each area of life. So once you finish one area, you can add up all the values and then divide by 8 to give you your score in that area of life. And you're going to do that for all 8 categories. And I will go ahead and give you about 5 minutes to go ahead and look that over and complete this activity, and then we'll reconvene afterwards. So I'll go ahead and set my timer again. Okay, you can go ahead and begin. Okay, welcome back. So now that you have your score for each area of life, because you added all the statements up and then divided by 8, you gave your numbers. You can go ahead and you should have a compass attached as well. This is your life compass. You can see all 8 areas of life on there. Either you can see there's numbers on there. You can go ahead and shade in the number for that you gave each category. So you can see a visual representation of how well you're doing in each area of life. And it could shed light on areas that you might want to improve or set some goals for. But moving on though, we don't have time to go through the whole goal setting process as much as I would like to. I want to give you an overview of the different types of goals in the Moxie Life system. So stretch goals, the first one on the screen, are going to be big and ambitious goals that you want to accomplish that push you outside of your comfort zone. You're only going to want to have 1 to 3 of these a year. You're not going to want to have a lot of these because they require a lot of time, effort, and energy to achieve. Next, you have progress goals, which are things that you may want to improve from your life compass assessment that we just did. And then most of your energy throughout the year is going to be put towards these progress goals or things that you want to change in your life throughout the year. Lastly, at the bottom there, we have maintenance goals. And these are things that you're already doing that you want to maintain or continue in your life until you go on autopilot and you don't even have to think about it. You're going to do them every day no matter what. And then next, I attached the goal sheets for your annual goals. You can see that there is an area for each area of life. You're going to write your goals. And then below each goal, you're going to write, it asks you to write how your life will improve by reaching these goals. And this is your why and what will keep you motivated and keep you pushing and persisting through. If you take the time to write out your goals later, we don't have time to do that now, but if you do take the time to, I would love to know how the process goes for you and hear about it in the comments. So to put into practice what we learned about the appreciative advising model, I have a case study for you that I will read, and then I will provide you with a few minutes to think about how you would advise the student if they scheduled an advising appointment with you. Then I'll show a sample answer. However, know that there are a variety of ways to help the student, and we may all take slightly different approaches. So the case study. It says, a first-generation college sophomore, Riley, says to an advisor, Skylar, I'm having trouble in 2 of my classes. I don't understand what the professor is talking about in one of them, but it's a required course in my major. The other is only a gen ed course, but I keep getting low grades on writing assignments. I was always good at writing in high school. If I do poorly, this will lower my GPA, and I just got off academic probation last term. I want to stay in my major, but I don't know if I can pass this one course that would likely really disappoint my family. What do you suggest I would do? So I'll give you about 2 minutes to go ahead and think about that, and then we'll reconvene. hopefully that gave you a few minutes to think about what you might do for Riley. I'll go ahead and show a sample answer. Remember, I said there could be several different approaches to helping Riley here. But we can see for disarm, you can welcome her, start fostering that relationship. For discover, we're going to shy away from being problem and solution focused to highlighting her strengths. This is where summarizing, paraphrasing, and asking open-ended questions comes in. During the dream phase, you're going to want to find out her why. What are her dreams and desires in life? For design, we're going to identify resources to go ahead and help Riley. And we want to connect this plan back to her dream. And encourage goal setting and construct a plan with her. For deliver, we want to have her try to implement the plan that we may come up with, and also allow for follow-up and communication as she goes to implement this plan. And then for don't settle, we want to foster belonging by working with her on these steps and to accomplishing her goals. Now, to wrap up, I wanted to address how appreciative advising model can be applied broadly beyond the fields of academic advising. So as you can see here on the screen, this model can be applied beyond academic advising. This model could be applied with adult and transfer student support, financial aid, admissions, career services, orientation, tutoring, parent programming. Anywhere on campus can go ahead and implement this model by really finding student strengths and being open communication, creating a plan to help them, and moving forward through that. So given the research that we went through in this presentation, how successful appreciative advising is with students, imagine the impact if the entire campus adopted this appreciative education model to promote student success. And I will end my presentation on that note. I hope you learned something more about appreciative advising than you knew before you started listening to my presentation. And I will look forward to hearing your questions, comments, and concerns in comments below in the discussion board thread. Thank you for your time. Bye.